No one is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not the world. And that's not because they don't care, it's because they can't. No one else can live your life for you. No one else can do the work that only you can do. The truth is, the longer you wait for someone to hand you the life you've been dreaming of, the further away it drifts. I want you to stop for a second and imagine this. The exact same life you're living right now, 1 year from today. Same mornings, same habits, same problems, same quiet frustrations that you've been carrying for years. You've told yourself before, this is the year I'll change. But the truth? Nothing happens because you never started. Most people believe they need motivation before they can act. But Stephen Covey would tell you, motivation is a result, not a starting point. The real starting point is a decision. A decision that says, I will rebuild myself, even if I have to start from absolute zero. And starting from zero is not your weakness. It's your power. Zero means you are not chained to what came before. Zero means every choice from here on out is a brick in the foundation of your new life. And if you're listening to me right now, it means somewhere deep down, you're ready to begin. And if you feel this is the message you've been needing, don't just listen and move on. Stay with me. Subscribe now, because this is where we rebuild together, one day at a time. But I have to be honest with you. If you don't take this seriously, you will keep living the same year over and over again. You will wake up 12 months from today in the same place you are now. Same frustrations, same doubts, same invisible walls holding you back. And here's the painful truth. The longer you delay rebuilding yourself, the harder it gets to break free. Time does not heal the wrong habits. Time cements them. Every single day that you repeat the same destructive patterns, you're pouring concrete over your own potential. You might think, I'm fine. I can handle it. I'll change when things get bad enough. But let me tell you, the danger isn't when things are falling apart. The danger is when you've gotten used to things being good enough. Stephen Covey said it best. You can't talk your way out of a problem you behaved your way into. If your actions don't change, your results won't either. And there's nothing more heartbreaking than realizing you could have changed your life, but you didn't. I know how it feels to wake up with the weight of your own life pressing down on you. To open your eyes and already feel behind before the day even starts. To scroll through your phone, seeing people who seem to be moving forward, while you're stuck, quietly hoping that tomorrow will be different. And maybe you've tried before. You've started new routines, joined new programs, read new books. But a few weeks later, you're right back where you began. Not because you're weak. Not because you're broken beyond repair. But because no one ever taught you how to start again from nothing. And starting from nothing is different. It's not about fixing small cracks in your life. It's about tearing down what no longer works and laying an entirely new foundation. It's about becoming the kind of person who builds their life on purpose, instead of drifting through it on autopilot. And that's exactly what we're going to do here today. Together, we're going to rebuild you from the ground up. Not in theory, not in feel-good words, but in real, practical steps you can start right now. You can't rebuild what you're still pretending isn't broken. Too many people spend years convincing themselves, it's not that bad. I'll deal with it later. But here's the truth. Later is a myth. Later never arrives. Later is a graveyard where dreams are buried and potential is left to rot. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who worked the same job for 25 years. He didn't love it. He didn't hate it. It just was. He told himself he would leave one day, maybe start the business he had been dreaming of since his 20s. But every year he found a reason to stay. The timing wasn't right. The economy was uncertain. His kids were still in school. One morning, he woke up, looked in the mirror, and realized he was 2 years away from retirement. And he thought, when did I run out of time? That's how life works when you live in denial. You think you're protecting yourself from discomfort, but you're really locking yourself into a future you don't want. The first step to rebuilding is radical acceptance, facing exactly where you are without sugarcoating it. I'm not asking you to judge yourself or carry shame. I'm asking you to tell yourself the truth, because only the truth can set you free. Stephen Covey taught us, to change ourselves effectively, We first have to change our perceptions. If you see starting from zero as a humiliation, you'll resist it. You'll try to cling to pieces of your old life, defending it, justifying it, making excuses for why it's not so bad. But if you see zero for what it really is, pure potential, you stop defending the past and start building the future. Think about a builder standing in front of an empty lot. To most people, it's nothing, just dirt. But to the builder, it's a blank canvas. The freedom to create without restrictions. No walls to tear down. No foundation to repair. That's what zero is for you. It's freedom disguised as emptiness. Zero means nothing is set in stone. Zero means every step forward counts. Zero means the past is over and the future is unwritten. And right now, you have the cleanest slate you will ever have in your life. But here's the hard part. You have to own it. You have to claim it. That's the mini decision that changes everything. Not waiting for permission. Not waiting for perfect timing. Owning it now. Write it down. This is my starting point. Say it out loud. Let it echo in your mind. Feel both the weight of it and the power inside it. This is not a confession. It's not a surrender. It's a declaration. A turning point. The moment you decide the old life is done and a new one begins. Because here's the loop you need to remember. The more you avoid admitting you're at zero, the longer you stay stuck exactly where you are. And the moment you admit it, you've already moved one step forward. I'll ask you a question. What if starting from zero wasn't the worst thing that ever happened to you, but the best? Think about it. You've seen people start from nothing and build empires. You've seen people hit rock bottom and come back stronger than anyone expected. You've seen stories of people who lost everything and somehow became more alive, more fulfilled, more free. What's the difference between them and the ones who never get up again? One thing, they accepted where they were without excuses. They didn't waste time fighting reality. They used it. They built on it. And you can do the same. So I'll leave you with this. Today, right now, choose to see zero not as a punishment, but as a gift. It's the doorway to everything you could ever want. The foundation you build on from here will be stronger than anything you've built before, because this time, you're building with intention. From this moment forward, every single choice you make will be a brick in the foundation of your new life. And when the day comes that you look back at this moment, you'll realize starting from zero was the greatest gift you were ever given. If you want to rebuild, you cannot carry the rubble of your old life into your new one. Imagine trying to build a beautiful new home, but you refuse to clear away the broken bricks, the cracked beams, the rotting wood from the old house. You tell yourself, maybe I can still use some of this. Maybe I can make it work. But deep down, you know the truth. You're building on weakness. And weakness always collapses. In life, that rubble is made up of habits that drain your energy, routines that keep you small, and sometimes people who keep you tied to the person you used to be. I knew a man who wanted to change his life completely. He said he was ready. He made vision boards. He read all the right books. But he refused to let go of one thing: his Friday nights with the same group of friends he had for years. Friends who laughed at his goals, told him he was dreaming too big, and kept pulling him back into the same old habits. Guess what happened? Every Monday, he was starting over again. Every week, his progress reset to zero. Why? Because he never cut the rope that was holding him in place. And here's the thing, cutting that rope is hard. Because those habits, those people, those environments, they feel safe. They're familiar. They're predictable. They're the places and faces you've known for years. And it's human nature to cling to the familiar, even when it's killing you slowly. But safety is not the same as growth. Familiarity is not the same as progress. Stephen Covey said it best. You have to decide what your highest priorities are and have the courage to say no to other things. That courage is where most people get stuck. They think, if I let this go, who will I be without it? What if I need it later? What if I regret it? Let me ask you, what's really more dangerous? Losing something that's been holding you back, or keeping it for the rest of your life and staying exactly where you are? Imagine running a race with a thick rope tied around your waist, dragging behind you. You can still move forward, but slowly, painfully, and eventually, that rope drags you to a stop. The longer you refuse to cut it, the heavier it gets. And here's the cruel irony. The moment you cut it, you'll realize you could have been running free all along. So how do you do it? You start with brutal honesty. No filters, no pretending, no sugarcoating. Sit down and write out a list of 3 things you will cut starting today. It could be a habit, like staying up until 2 a.m. scrolling through your phone. It could be an environment, like that place you go that always leaves you feeling worse. It could be a relationship you've been holding onto out of guilt or comfort, even though you know it's keeping you from becoming who you need to be. And here's the mini loop I want you to hold on to. You may think you can keep these things and still rebuild yourself. But the truth is, as long as you keep them, you're rebuilding on sand. And sand always shifts. I've seen people transform their lives overnight, not because they suddenly found the perfect plan, but because they made the brave choice to let go of what was holding them back. They cleared the rubble, and with that weight gone, they moved faster than they ever thought possible. So burn that list into your mind. Every time you feel tempted to go back to those habits, places, or people, remind yourself, I've already decided. You cannot rebuild if you keep reinforcing the old structure. Cut the rope, clear the rubble, make space for the life you are creating. Because every day you delay, the foundation of your new life remains unfinished. And when you finally have the courage to let go, you'll discover something no one tells you. What you thought you needed was never the thing that was holding you together. It was the thing that was holding you back. Discipline is not punishment. It's not a cage. It's not a prison. Discipline is the framework that holds your future together when motivation fades, when excitement dies, when the mood to keep going is gone. Motivation is like the weather. Sometimes it's sunny and bright. Other times it's cloudy and cold. You can't control it. And if you build your life around the weather, you will never get anywhere. Discipline is the climate. It doesn't change with every passing mood. It's stable. It's what makes growth possible. I once knew a woman who was desperate to change her life. She wanted to get fit, start a side business, and rebuild her confidence. She would start strong, waking up at 5 a.m., eating healthy, working on her projects. But within 2 weeks, the fire burned out. She would wait for motivation to return, but it never stayed. And every time she lost momentum, she would say, I'll start again when I feel ready. But readiness never came, because readiness isn't what creates change. Here's the truth. You don't rebuild yourself by doing big things once in a while. You rebuild by doing small, non-negotiable actions every single day, no matter how you feel. Stephen Covey said, the key is not what you do occasionally, but what you do consistently. And that's what discipline is. Consistency in action, especially when you don't feel like it. Think about a mason building a wall. Every day, 1 brick. Some days the weather is perfect. Other days it's miserable. But if he keeps showing up, brick by brick, eventually the wall is built. Now imagine if he only worked on sunny days. That wall would never be finished. That's how most people live, building only on the good days. And then they wonder why their life never changes. So here's the shift you must make. Stop asking yourself, do I feel like it? And start telling yourself, it's time to do it. Start with 1 habit you can execute without fail, even if it's just 10 minutes a day. Make it so small you have no excuse to skip it. Want to get fit? Start with a 10-minute walk every morning, no matter the weather. Want to write a book? Commit to writing 200 words a day, even if you don't know where the story is going. Want to improve your mindset? Spend 5 minutes each morning reading something that feeds your mind before you touch your phone. The habit itself isn't what matters most. What matters is proving to yourself, day after day, that you keep your word. And here's the mini loop I want you to hold on to. At first, discipline feels heavy, like lifting a weight you're not used to. But over time, it becomes the very thing that makes you feel light. Because you stop wasting energy deciding whether or not you'll do what needs to be done. You just do it. I've seen people completely transform their lives simply by mastering 1 small habit. One man I coached decided he would wake up at the same time every single day, no exceptions. Within a month, his sleep improved. Within 2 months, he had more energy. Within 3 months, he had used those extra morning hours to start a business he'd been dreaming about for years. All from one simple discipline. That's the power of discipline. It multiplies. It doesn't just improve one area of your life. It spills over into everything. So as you rebuild, understand this. Discipline is the bridge between your current self and your future self. Every time you cross it, you get closer to the life you want. And every time you avoid it, you stay exactly where you are. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting to feel ready. Build your climate. Lay your bricks. And when you look back months from now, you'll see that discipline was never the punishment you thought it was. It was the freedom you'd been searching for all along. You cannot rebuild in isolation from progress. Your environment is either feeding your new self or feeding your old one. There is no neutral ground. Every person you interact with, every space you spend time in, every voice you allow into your mind is either building your future or slowly tearing it down. I knew a man who wanted to turn his life around. He was tired of the same habits, the same patterns, the same endless cycle of starting over. He worked hard for 2 weeks at a time, but then he would go back to spending all his evenings with friends who laughed at his discipline, made fun of his goals, and invited him back into the old life he was trying to escape. He couldn't understand why it was so hard to change. But the truth was simple. His environment had more influence over him than his willpower did. Stephen Covey once said, "We become what we repeatedly do." But here's what most people forget. What you do repeatedly is shaped by what surrounds you. If your environment is built for distraction, you will be distracted. If your environment normalizes mediocrity, you will unconsciously accept it. Think about it. A seed has the potential to become a towering tree. But plant that seed in toxic soil, and it will wither before it has the chance to grow. You are no different. Your habits are the soil. Your environment is the climate. And if either one is poisoned, you will struggle to grow no matter how much potential you have inside you. So what does it mean to surround yourself with momentum? It means placing yourself in spaces and with people who are moving forward. It means exposing yourself to examples of the life you want to live. It means immersing yourself in progress until it becomes normal for you. When you see others waking up early, working on their craft, taking care of their health, investing in themselves, it becomes harder for you to justify doing nothing. Momentum is contagious. When you breathe it in every day, it changes the way you move. This is why some people progress faster than others, even when they start with the same tools and resources. They are in an environment that constantly fuels their growth. Ask yourself, who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? What are they building? What are they chasing? What are they normalizing? If their actions are not aligned with where you want to go, you have a choice to make. Because if you spend your life surrounded by people going nowhere, you will eventually stop trying to go anywhere yourself. And it's not just people, it's places, it's sounds, it's what you see when you open your eyes in the morning. Is your bedroom filled with clutter that screams chaos instead of clarity? Is your workspace set up for productivity or for procrastination? When you scroll through your phone, are you feeding your mind with growth or with noise? Here's the mini loop I want you to remember. You might think you can rise above your environment by sheer willpower, but eventually, your environment will pull you back to its level. It always does. The only way to win is to design your environment so that progress is the default. I've seen people make massive changes just by changing their surroundings. One man moved his desk to face a window with sunlight instead of a blank wall. He started feeling more energized every morning. Another replaced the people he followed on social media with leaders and creators who inspired him. Within weeks, his mindset shifted, his ideas expanded, and he started taking action without forcing himself. The point is this: you can't rebuild in the same space, with the same influences, surrounded by the same stagnant energy, and expect a different result. If you want momentum, you have to be near it. You have to feel it. You have to live inside it. So take a hard look at your life. What needs to change in your surroundings for progress to feel inevitable? Maybe it's as simple as reorganizing your home so the tools for your goals are always in sight. Maybe it's replacing one unproductive night a week with time spent around people who challenge and inspire you. Maybe it's cutting out just one voice that's been keeping you small. Change your environment, and your environment will change you. Surround yourself with momentum, and one day, you'll wake up realizing you're no longer chasing progress. You're living in it. You're not just rebuilding for this week. You're not just rebuilding for this month. You are rebuilding for the rest of your life. That means you must hold a vision that stretches far into the future, but you must live as if every single day matters. Because it does. Most people fall into one of two traps. The first is thinking only in the short term. They want results today, this week, this month. And when they don't see them quickly, they quit. The second trap is thinking only in the long term. They dream big dreams, but they keep pushing action into the future because the goal feels so far away. Neither works. If you want to rebuild, you have to think in years but act in days. I knew a man who decided to run a marathon. He set his race date for a year in the future. He visualized crossing the finish line, imagined the medal around his neck. But for the first 2 months, he barely ran at all. He kept telling himself, "I have plenty of time." Then, 6 months before the race, he realized he was far behind. He panicked, tried to cram in long runs, pushed too hard, and got injured. He never made it to the starting line. That's what happens when you think only in years but don't act in days. The opposite is just as dangerous. I've seen people throw themselves into a new goal with total intensity for a few weeks, going to the gym every day, working on their business late into the night. But because they had no long-term vision, they burned out, got discouraged, and quit. Stephen Covey once said, "The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities." Your priorities should be built from your vision, and your daily actions should be the steps that move you toward that vision. Think about an architect designing a skyscraper. He knows exactly what the building will look like when it's finished, but he also knows it will take years to complete. Does that stop him from showing up every day to lay the foundation, to oversee the construction, to check each detail? No, because he understands that every day's work is part of the bigger picture. You have to approach your life the same way. Hold the blueprint in your mind, but focus on laying today's bricks. So how do you do this? Start by getting clear on your 5-year vision. Who do you want to be? How do you want to live? What do you want to have accomplished? Picture it in detail. Then, reverse engineer it. Ask yourself, what needs to happen in the next 12 months for me to be on track? Then, what needs to happen this month? And finally, what can I do today to move one step closer? This is where most people get it wrong. They either live only for today with no sense of direction, or they live only for the future and never start. The balance is the secret. Here's the mini loop to remember. Every big goal is just a series of small days stacked together. And every small day you waste pushes the big goal further away. I've seen incredible transformations happen when people commit to this mindset. One woman I worked with wanted to write a book in 2 years. She didn't wait for the perfect time. She committed to writing 500 words a day. Some days she wrote in the morning, some days at night. Some days she didn't feel like it at all. But she never skipped. 2 years later, she had not 1, but 2 finished books. That's the power of thinking in years, but acting in days. It's patience combined with urgency. It's vision married to action. And here's the truth. If you treat every day like it matters, you'll be shocked at how much progress you make in a year. And if you treat every year like part of a bigger picture, you'll be shocked at how much progress you make in a lifetime. So stop waiting for the right moment to begin. The right moment is always now. Keep your eyes on the horizon, but keep your feet moving forward one step at a time. Because one day, you'll look up and realize you've built exactly the life you once only imagined. I want you to imagine something. It's 1 year from today. You're standing in front of a mirror. You take a deep breath and look into your own eyes. And for a moment, you don't recognize the person staring back at you. The heaviness you used to carry? Gone. The doubt that lived in the back of your mind? Quiet. The version of you who kept hesitating, kept making excuses, kept starting over again and again is gone. In their place is someone different. someone stronger, someone who doesn't just talk about change, they live it every day. Someone who knows exactly what they stand for, exactly where they're going, and exactly who they are becoming. Now, I want you to ask yourself, how did you get here? Was it a single miracle? A moment where the world suddenly gave you everything you wanted? No, it was built, quietly, consistently, in days that felt boring, in moments when no one was watching, in choices that no one applauded but you. And that's the truth people don't want to face. The new you isn't created in grand gestures. It's created in the small, relentless, ordinary work you do every single day. Stephen Covey once said, "We become what we repeatedly do." If you repeat hesitation, you become hesitation. If you repeat excuses, you become excuses. But if you repeat discipline, courage, and clarity, you become unstoppable. Let me tell you about a man named David. A year ago, David was lost. He was drowning in debt, his health was slipping, and his confidence was at an all-time low. But one day, he decided he was done negotiating with himself. He chose 5 simple rules to live by. Things he could do every single day no matter what. Drink a liter of water. Walk 30 minutes. Read 10 pages of a book. Write down his priorities. And refuse to go to bed until he had done them all. It didn't look impressive at first. No one noticed. No one cared. But David cared. He kept going. And after 3 months, his debt was shrinking. After 6 months, his health was improving. After 9 months, he had new opportunities he never imagined. At the 1-year mark, he barely recognized himself. That's what the new you will feel like. At first, it's invisible. Then, it's undeniable. So let me ask you, a year from now, when you look in that mirror, will you see the same person you see today? Or will you see someone who finally decided to stop talking about change and start living it? Because the truth is, the person you want to become is already inside you. They're not a stranger. They're waiting for you to choose them. And when you do, when you commit to that choice with everything you have, you'll realize something powerful. You were never starting from nothing. You were starting from experience. And experience is the greatest advantage you could ever have. So here's my challenge to you. Don't waste another year wondering what could have been. Make the decision now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Because the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the moment you finally decide to start building it. So here we are. You've walked through every pillar. You've seen exactly how to rebuild yourself from zero. Not in theory, not in vague inspiration, but in real, tangible steps you can take starting today. And now, you're standing at a crossroads. One path is familiar. It's the same road you've been walking for years. You know every turn, every bump, every dead end. It's safe, it's predictable, and it leads exactly where you've already been. The other path is unknown. It's new. It's uncomfortable. It's unpredictable. It's the path of rebuilding. And it's the only one that will take you somewhere different from where you are now. Here's what I know. You won't feel ready to take it. No one ever does. You'll be tempted to wait until you have more time, more energy, more clarity. But if you've learned anything today, it's that waiting only makes the walls around you stronger. So start. Even if your first step is small, even if it's shaky, even if you don't know exactly where it will lead. Because movement creates clarity. Action creates momentum. And momentum will carry you further than you can imagine right now. Stephen Covey once said, "The key is in not spending time, but in investing it." Every day is an investment in your future. Every decision you make is either building the person you want to become or reinforcing the person you no longer want to be. I want you to think about the version of yourself who's already living the life you want. Picture them in detail. How do they stand? How do they speak? How do they spend their time? That person is not far away. They're one choice away. One day away. And here's the truth you need to hold on to. No one else can take that step for you. No one else can put in the work. No one else can carry your vision like you can. So tonight, before you go to sleep, I want you to choose. Decide which path you're going to walk from this day forward. Decide if you're going to keep living in the loop of someday, or if you're going to break it once and for all. And when you wake up tomorrow, act like someone who has already made that choice. Don't wait for the perfect conditions. Don't wait for the permission of others. Just begin. You started something here. And what comes next will demand even more of you. More focus, more courage, more consistency. But I promise you this. If you keep going, if you keep showing up for yourself day after day, the life you build will be worth every ounce of effort you put into it. This is just the beginning. The real transformation happens when you decide to carry this work into tomorrow and the next day and the next. So take that first step, and then take another and another. I'll be right here, walking with you.